Today we're going to be doing an everyday makeup routine. Makeup that just gets the job done, because I know there are so many video tutorials, Instagram reels, TikToks, and product recommendations that people are often overwhelmed with, thinking that they have to follow each step, each product, and emulate it for their everyday makeup routine. But what I'm here to do today is decode all of that, going through the steps so that you can really personalize your everyday makeup routine with the least amount of product and the most amount of impact. So let's get started. Now, the universal step for any good makeup look, whether it's everyday or full glam, is cleansed and properly prepped skin. So I'm gonna go in with just a cleansing pad all over and then spray my skin with a bit of a hydrating mist and go in with my lightweight moisturizer on top. Now, speaking mainly for everyday makeup routines, the reason skin prep is so important is because the better your skin looks before you apply any makeup, the less makeup you're inclined to use. So this is the point where you really want to assess what do you want to achieve with your everyday makeup? And take a look at your face, analyzing what you want to fix or slightly enhance. For example, if you have really light eyes, your priority would be bringing some definition to that area, whether that's with a brown liner, building up that mascara, or a bit of eyeliner in the waterline. Let's say you have really sparse brows. You don't want to focus on the eyeliner. You want to focus on a bit of eyebrow pencil. If you have, for example, dark under eyes, you would want to prioritize in buying a good eye cream so that your concealer lays down better. You wouldn't want to focus on buying the best bronzer or lip liner, but rather targeting that specific area. I've been loving this Naturium multi-peptide eye cream underneath the eyes before makeup. It's really creamy, but still lightweight, so it penetrates really quickly. Now your skin prep is all done. You've analyzed what you want to prioritize in your everyday makeup routine, and that's what you're going to start with first, because you're going to see the most impact and the most change after you do that first step. And it's going to, again, cause you to use less makeup, making the overall look the most natural for an everyday makeup routine. So for me, for example, I like to prioritize vibrancy and color to my face. What does that mean? Bronzer and blush. So I will take a darker foundation stick. Instead of right here on the cheekbone, I'm actually going to apply it almost as if it's blush on the cheek to mimic a sun-kissed look. All right, I have my bronzer down. I've brought a bit of life to the skin, a bit of warmth. Now, my next step, personally, blush. Would recommend this to everybody, even if you don't apply bronzer or any other makeup product. Blush is so important for anybody, even if you don't use any other makeup, because it evens out the skin tone by bringing vibrancy to the center of the face and distracting it from like any darkness or discoloration anywhere else. I always, once again, warm it up on the palm of my hand. And then for this one, actually, you do not want to mix the brush that you use for your blush with your bronzer brush, because it can very quickly and unintentionally make this area look muddy and not as bright as we want. I'm going to take the other side of the Makeup by Mario blush stick, pick it up, and then start almost underneath the eye, because this is also going to serve as a form of color correction when we go in with our concealer. And as you can see, I'm utilizing pressing motions. You don't want to rub, especially with a brush as dense as this. For your everyday makeup routine, you want your skin to shine through as much as possible, and you don't want to irritate it. So utilizing pressing motions with a sponge and a brush will prevent it from going red. All right, let's say you're already tan and you don't really prioritize this vibrancy or color along your cheek, so your everyday makeup routine is focused on definition instead. That's when I would bring in the pencils. Brow pencil, eyeliner, lip liner, and in this case, mascara. I recommend everybody have a good lash curler in their kit, and honestly, do this as the skin prep step, because it makes such a difference with the least amount of effort and the least amount of makeup. Once again, making it look super natural for everyday wear. Just a little tip for curling your lashes is counting how many times you pump it on each side so you get a even curl. And look at that. You don't even have to apply any mascara if you don't want. Now I'm gonna go in with my mascara of choice. For a super natural look and something a little bit different, I like going in with the L'Oreal Voluminous Original Burgundy mascara. This just pulls a bit more of the warm tones of my brown eyes. It's not crazy different, but it's a little bit lighter than my black telescopic mascara, but let's use this today. And I actually really want to try the new Makeup by Mario mascara. Let me know if any of you have. I'm sure it's phenomenal, but I would still like to know. All right, next up, one of my holy grail makeup products. This is the e.l.f. Brow Lift. I used to use this so incorrectly by scooping a lot out to make sure that the brows would stay in place, but you really don't need a lot. I will dip my spoolie in and brush off the excess because otherwise it will never dry down. It will mix with all your other products and remain sticky on your face. So less is more with these types of products. But the reason this is so important for an everyday makeup routine is because lifting your brows up will also lift the rest of your face up, making it look super cohesive and open once again, because we lifted the lashes, now we're lifting the brows. I don't care so much to like laminate them on the skin. Just to direct the hairs in the same direction makes such a difference. Now, as mentioned before, if one of your concerns is dark under eyes, I would have first gone in with a bit of blush to color correct and bring that vibrancy and overall tone to the face. But if you want a bit more coverage, this is the point where I would go in with a bit of concealer. The right placement and little amount of product can still create the biggest impact and honestly a more natural look. This is a tip that I learned from one of my favorite makeup artists here on YouTube, Wayne Goss. He made a video years ago explaining how pinpointing your concealer coverage to one area will create the illusion to the other eye that the whole area is bright. So for example, I would initially be inclined to bring the concealer all over underneath here and a bit here to lift the face. But I have the most darkness here, not over here. So by focusing the concealer right on the inner corner, and that's it, I'm going to be able to blend it out and stretch it out and create the illusion that this entire area is bright and awake. If you are a beginner in makeup or are in a rush, I would highly recommend utilizing a sponge over a brush because the brushes dry itself and might irritate your under eye, causing the concealer to look a bit more dry. Whereas the sponge, if you don't really have a well-prepped under eye, it can give you kind of that leverage by providing moisture from the sponge itself to really smooth out the concealer. So I'm gonna go first in, once again, pressing motions in that inner corner, and then boom. As I have less product to blend, I will then blend outwards. Beautiful. Super natural, and honestly for this little of concealer, I don't prioritize powder, especially with my dry skin. So I just let it be, and whatever creasing that happens throughout the day, I'll just pat it out with my finger. And that's another thing actually. Makeup will crease. Even if I do apply the powder, it's going to crease. But the powder will allow for that creasing period to be delayed because your face moves, and it's natural for product to move into lines because your face is moving. So this is one of the biggest things that I have to communicate with my clients is that no, I cannot take away texture. I cannot take away fine lines or wrinkles or creasing or smile lines. It's makeup. It can only do so much. It mainly has to do with color and dimension. Yes, you can utilize techniques to make the makeup look more natural and a little bit of less texture and not emphasize the texture, but you can't take it away. Because we basically have all cream products on our face, I like to use a bit of a powder highlighter so that it grips on a bit better and, you know, not everything is sliding around. If you want your makeup to last a bit longer for your everyday makeup routine, this is also when I would go in with like a powder blush and a powder bronzer. But if it's just for a couple hours and you just want to look a little bit fresh, this is basically all you need. A gloss is perfect for every day because once again, it's bringing that life and vibrancy, moisture to the lips and makes it look super plump. But I love a lip liner. This has been an accidental like gold discovery for me. This is the Sephora Collection Contour Gel Lip Liner. The reason this is so special to me is because of its gel formula. I have really dry lips, and most of the time when I'm on the go, I don't have my lip mask to put on, wait a couple minutes, take it off, and then put my lip liner on. But with this, even if my lips are a little bit chapped, this has the perfect consistency to compensate for it and provide that moisture. Now, it's not going to last as long, but I'm okay with that. I have it in my bag and it is perfect. I like to overline quite a bit here on my Cupid's bow and my lower lip, but do whatever works for you. I would also highly recommend this to any like more mature women because again, of its hydrating formula, it's not going to make the lips look super dry and crusty, and it's so comfortable when you're wearing it. Look at that. This is the color Dressed to the 90s. Perfection. And then the tiniest amount of Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. This is probably not very good for everyday use, but I absolutely love this product. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 3-Second Setting Mist. This is my completed everyday makeup routine and some tips to hopefully optimize your own. I really hope you enjoyed this style of video, sharing a different approach on how to cater makeup for you. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!